Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The Modern Warfare 2 meta surprisingly got a lot of updates with Season 5 Reloaded. It's been some time since they've actually had significant weapon buffs and weapon nerfs in any patch for multiplayer specifically. And with that said, today we are breaking down the new top 10 best weapons / the top 10 best class setups you want to be running for Season 5 Reloaded. So we are starting first with old reliable, the M4. And as we get into all the weapons here today, quick reminder, if you are new to the channel or if you simply haven't yet, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, because every single day I got you covered with absolutely everything going on in COD between MW2, Warzone, and MW3 headed into this fall, obviously. And if you guys enjoyed this video, if you find it helpful at all, do me a favor, drop a like on it, would be seriously appreciated. But yeah, I mean, what is there left to be said about the M4 that we haven't said already this year? This thing's been good from day one all the way up until now. Very standard for an M4 in Call of Duty MP. It's nice, it's reliable, it's consistent, easy to use. You can't go wrong with this thing, right? This is a pretty aggressive setup overall. I got the P80 strike stock on here for just better mobility all around, making it a bit more of an AR SMG style of play here, just boosting that mobility stat up a lot. The ZX rear grip for better control, going to keep it nice and consistent, nice and steady as you're shooting. Olay laser for that snappier ADS and sprint to fire. The Edge 47 underbarrel for some stability here, just again to keep that recoil pattern predictable, and it doesn't really hurt your ADS speed all that much. Then I go for the castle compensator. This mainly focuses on horizontal control, which means your pattern's going to be even more predictable. So this weapon is quite literally point and shoot. It's a laser beam and also has a very fast TTK, which is saying something for multiplayer since it seems like everything does. This definitely stands out. Now, a weapon that personally I love in MW2 MP is the Chimera. I'm not gonna be honest, I love this thing everywhere. It's fun in Warzone, it's fun in Resurgence, it's fun in multiplayer. It's just a great gun. It feels smooth like butter. It's just a ton of fun, and it just so happens that on top of the fun, it's also ultra competitive. Its close range TTK for playing aggressively with this rifle is nuts. It's gonna fry. It's also got that mid-range sort of sniper support style built into it. Very easy to use as well. It's just all around checking all the right boxes. And again, we're going for a lot of mobility here. I got the Bruin Flash rear grip, better ADS, better sprint to fire. The M13 factory stock from the M13C also helps out with the sprint speed and the strafe speed, so it's aggressive just off of that. 7mW lasers adding even more mobility to it. The Vorpal barrel is a great choice for movement speed and ADS speed. If you want a bit more consistency, you could also upgrade to the Phoenix as well. This will make it more ideal for some mid-range in there too, with that better range and better control that this adds. Then lastly, I go for the Bore 490. This is also, it says it doesn't do anything, but there is actual stats here. It's horizontal based. I don't know why it's glitched in multiplayer. That's weird, but it's horizontal control based, so it's gonna again make the pattern more predictable, just like over on the M4 with the castle compensator. And with this, you got something that you're gonna be able to run and gun with on shipment, or drop into ground war and also fry over range too, like in the mid-range and whatnot. Very versatile rifle. And kind of in that same group, we have the FR Avancer, the FFAR. Just like the Chimera, it's got the mid-range lockdown, it's got the close range lockdown. This to me actually feels a bit more consistent over some of the longer ranges than the Chimera would, just because the Chimera's velocity is a little bit lacking. But the Avancer, it's low recoil, faster fire rate, so that's something you got to keep note of with your ammo count there. But it works just as well, if not better, because it's a bit more versatile in some areas. But here I go for the Ion rear grip, just straight up better control, very basic there. I do use that 45 round mag, as I mentioned, with that fire rate, just to not run out of ammo constantly after maybe shooting one or two players. If you're in a hectic situation, this extra ammo is definitely going to help you out. Ripper underbarrel for the better stabilization and stability, helps make that pattern more predictable over long range. The FR 435 barrel for the better control and velocity. Again, the mid to long range is feeling consistent here. Then castle compensator as well for that horizontal control. That said, there are ways to flip this around. If you want more aggression, you could drop maybe an underbarrel or the barrel for a laser. You could swap out a muzzle for a stock. A lot of ways to build the Avancer. This thing works in multiplayer in so many different ways, and I love it for that. And then again, with the mid-range sort of sniper support, versatile rifle trend we got going on, the Razorback, and I love this too. If you can't tell, I like these aggressive rifles, right? This setup though is actually very similar to the one that I use over in Warzone for my versatile rifles there, because this works for close range just because the Razorback's more aggressive in general, especially works for mid-range, and because it's so low recoil, long range fries here too. So again, you could use this on shipment, you could use this in ground war. It's gonna do well everywhere. So I go for the MWII V4 here. If there's an optic you prefer more, feel free to run that. The 60 round round mag is what's not as necessary for multiplayer, so you could drop this down to 45 if you want. You could run even the stock mag, but you might be a little bit more limited in ammo there because the fire rate's pretty fast. So I feel like 45 is that nice sort of sweet spot there. High velocity ammo, again, something that's a little bit more Warzone based, but it would work well if you're playing this for mid to long range. It depends on where you want this weapon to thrive. If you're playing this for close to mid range, swap out high velocity for like a laser. But like I said, the versatility here, this is going to be nice for all different types of engagements basically. Proto underbarrel is so awesome. Stability, stabilization, and horizontal control. It makes the pattern so predictable, and then you throw on Komodo heavy and it becomes even more predictable because this also just focuses on a horizontal control. So you're left with a pattern that's basically straight vertical, which means you can just fry, and it's going to be so consistent every single time you shoot it that it ends up being one of the easiest guns to use in the game. Now, shifting away from some of the rifles, we do have some phenomenal SMGs in this half season as well, the MP5 being one of them, and now it's more aggressive and more effective than ever because they finally went through and fixed the mobile stock. So now you're actually getting mobility benefits out of this, which is nice to see. So sprint speed, strafe speed, ADS speed, perfect for an aggressive SMG. I go for the TCG-10 rear grip. It's going to help out with control and keep the gun consistent, and I tune for better mobility out of that. The 40 round mag I feel like works well even for multiplayer. 30 can sometimes run out quickly. If you're comfortable with 30, you could throw on like frangible, hollow point. Those could work well too. I also go for the 7mm laser, snappier ADS and sprint to fire, and the Falcon barrel for the better movement speed and ADS speed. So this thing is going to fly all over the map and also kill extremely quick and be super easy at the same time. Once again, a weapon that's checking all the right boxes. By the way, if you're diving into some gameplay here in Season 5 Reloaded, whether it's multiplayer, whether it's Warzone, or perhaps you're not even gaming, you're just looking at screens for long periods of time with work or with school, do yourself a favor, pick up a pair of Gamer Advantage glasses. They are game changers. I stand by that. They're the most essential part of my day-to-day setup because they reduce my headaches, my eye strain, something that really bothered me a lot before I started wearing these. They also help me sleep better at night as well, which is awesome, so you can wake up feeling nice and refreshed the next day. They got prescription and regular lenses, so many different frame options. If you want to get a pair for yourself, throw in code Immortal at checkout. Link for that'll be down below. That'll get you a nice little discount on your order. Now, no surprise here, but the ISO 45 is absolutely in the top of the meta for MP. It's actually the same setup that I use over in Warzone as well because it just works that well. You're fighting in the same areas, and you'll notice that a lot of the subs here, they do share between Warzone and multiplayer because close range in Warzone works the same as close range in multiplayer. If it works well with armor, it's going to work well without it too, which is nice to see. So this setup, fantastic mobility, and it's going to melt players as well. I do like the KT85 compensator on here because it's going to make it a lot easier to shoot and stay on target if you're fighting in like some mid-range, since obviously this is your main primary. 7mm laser, snappier ADS and sprint to fire, same deal with the sheer rear grip. Cheetah stock for better sprint speed, strafe speed, ADS speed. Then I go for the 45 round drum. This does have a faster fire rate. It's nice and convenient. You don't have to worry about reloading ever. If you're okay with the base 30, again, you could swap out to maybe some ammo, perhaps an optic if you prefer that over the iron sights. There's some versatile ways to build this, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This setup's been working for me since day one, and I love the feel of it. You may not realize it, but the Fennec is actually very good in multiplayer still, even more so than over in Warzone, where I've also tested this setup as well, because obviously the health isn't as extreme in multiplayer, so you can get away with this fast fire rate still being a thing, and it just spamming out ammo like crazy. So because the fire rate's so fast, I'm still running the 45 round mag even in multiplayer because that fire rate's just that obnoxious, right? But because that fast fire rate, you're gonna melt. KT85 compensator here as well, same deal as over on the ISO. 7mm laser. I go for the rubber rear grip for the better ADS and sprint to fire. Then I like the Loctite stock for the sprint speed and the ADS speed. The Agile Assault 7 is also a really good choice as well. That one's gonna have a bit more of an impact on your stability and your sway, which may affect you in some gunfights. Kind of comes down to preference there. There's no wrong answer. But yeah, the Fennec, I feel like is kind of under the radar right now. People kind of forgot about this thing, but it's putting in the work. Next up, we got a powerhouse, the Taq-V, which actually got a range buff with Season 5 Reloaded, which is fun to see. It's a little bit higher recoil, but if you get your sights up first, you're gonna just erase players at really any range. If someone's coming around a corner close range, you got your sights up, melted. Mid-range peeking a heady, melted. Long range running through a field, melted. This thing's just gonna dominate, right? So I like the iron sights because it is the Scar. It's nice and clean there. Instead, I go for the Olay laser for that snappier ADS, and sprint to fire is not a huge deal, but it's a nice bonus. Combat rear grip, better control straight up, nice and convenient there. 30 round mag is totally sufficient for this fire rate in multiplayer. The Bruin Warrior grip is nice for control and steadiness, just gonna make it really easy to use. Then Sack and Tread 40 helps out with vertical and horizontal, makes the pattern a bit more predictable, makes that shake a little bit less rough over long range. Pretty versatile battle rifle here, and like I said, it just brings the power. Now, the STB is another one of these rifles that honestly you could talk about and drop in with the conversation of aggressive AR SMG hybrids like the Chimera, the Avancer, so on and so forth. This setup in particular is built around speed and aggression because it's got the AR damage profile, fast TTK, and it's got low recoil that you can just go all in on mobility and let this thing fly and fry. So I got the S901 barrel, movement speed and ADS speed right out of the gate, nice and snappy, nice and aggressive. 7mm laser for more of the same. I go for the blue dot here, the Chrono Mini Pro. I don't like the AUG irons. They're too obnoxious for me, so this is just nice and clean. Behind the face cam, C11 riser, ADS and sprint to fire. Q900 rear grip, ADS and sprint to fire. You see the trend here. We're all mobility based, so you could use this as an SMG AR hybrid. You could use this in mid-range. If you got the control capabilities, long range as well. The STB is a really slept on rifle in my opinion. It's really consistent and, like I said, so straightforward. And then lastly here, I did want to focus on the Lachmann Shroud, one of the new weapons. I always try and get you guys a loadout here. And this one, also like some of the other SMGs, is going to be shared between Warzone and multiplayer. This is a weapon that has such a high ceiling and such a low floor because it's all dependent on you. This could be a meta weapon for some players. This could be the worst SMG for other players. Whether you're in burst or semi-auto, you have to be able to spam this thing, and especially in semi-auto, like break the fire rate basically for it to have a crazy TTK. If you're not able to spam consistently and stay on target close range, which a lot of players are not able to do, it's not going to be a great choice. But as always with the new weapons, I want to get you guys setups for them. So here I'm going for the 7mm laser, snap your ADS and sprint to fire. Mobile stock, as we discussed with the standard MP5, works great now. TCG 10 rear grip for that better control tune for the better mobility. 40 round mag because you want to be able to spray and pray and spam as much as you can. Then I go for overpressured ammo here to add in some target flinch. If it helps them miss some shots so I get that chance to land a couple more, it's going to be a clutch attachment. Hollow point and frangible also really work well. You could even test out an optic if you're not a fan of like the irons here, but I think they're pretty clean. Like I said though, this is a weird sub because it could be so good for you but so bad at the same time, just depending on your level of skill. That being said, those are the top 10 best weapons and class setups we're running here for MW2 Multiplayer in Season 5 Reloaded. And that's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video or if you found it helpful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out so you can always guarantee you're up to date with everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.